What's up, everybody? Last week was a big week for the gaming world, as always. We're going to be talking about two major stories coming out of EA, a brand new thing on the way from Riot Games, a bunch of different releases, and we are going to be talking about a very interesting werewolf video game that is on the way next year. I'm very excited about it. Before we get into anything else, though, we're going to get into the fact that EA outbid Take-Two for the British game developer Codemasters for a grand total of $1.2 billion. Now, this is a big move for EA. Codemasters is the game developer behind Grid, Formula 1, off-road racing. They have been a staple in the racing world for over 30 years. They have developed a lot of amazing games, and EA is going to need all that expertise if they are going to be making another Need for Speed in the future. Now, the last Need for Speed game that EA came out with was in November of 2019, developed by Ghost Games, and it was Need for Speed Heat. And this game did not have good reviews, it was not well received by audiences, and overall it kind of put a nail in the coffin for the Need for Speed franchise, as it were. However, EA, if they want to reinvigorate that franchise, this would be a perfect opportunity. Codemasters has so much expertise and they are so good in this area. And given the fact that next-gen consoles have just dropped, this is the perfect time to launch a Need for Speed game. This would be the most ideal situation for EA to have acquired Codemasters for. But that is not the only thing that EA was in the news for last week. EA Play was actually integrated into Xbox Game Pass for all console members late November. Now, this feature was supposed to come to PC gamers in December. However, that feature is going to be delayed. EA Game Library is a very amazing library. It has multiple Star Wars titles, you have Mass Effect Andromeda, you have Titanfall 2, and this is just a few of the titles that are part of this game library. It is a very immersive and incredible thing, and while it is not part of PC's Xbox Game Pass just yet, don't worry, it will be on PC sometime in 2021. Now, there's no specific time that is given for this release, but let's anticipate that it will be in early spring of 2021. Now, the reason behind this delay is the fact that Xbox Game Pass simply needs more time to integrate EA into the PC format. Now, moving past that, we are going to head to Riot Games. Riot Games is a major staple in the video game world. League of Legends clocks 115 million players every single month, which is just an incredible number for any game, and League of Legends is a tier above. They're known for stepping past their boundaries and really immersing their gamers into a whole nother level of gaming. And that's not going to stop, because Riot Games VP of IP and Entertainment Greg Street tweeted the news earlier this week that a League of Legends MMO is on the way. Now, we have no other news about this MMO at the moment. However, Greg Street was also the lead systems designer behind World of Warcraft, and you can only imagine with experience like that, there is going to be so much going into this game. And with a game as popular as League of Legends, you can only imagine that this title is going to be something extremely special and really propel this franchise further even more and make it way more popular than it already is. It's hard to imagine, especially with a franchise that has so much player base behind it, but it is something we're going to have to prepare for, especially given that Riot Games also has another spin-off in the works. I'm talking about Ruined King, a League of Legends story. It's a single-player turn-based RPG spin-off, and it is set to release in 2021. We got a teaser trailer during the Game Awards last week, and it looks like it is going to be something extremely special on its own. But given these two different projects, we can only imagine that League of Legends is only the tip of the iceberg, and there's going to be so much more unique gaming experiences available for all sorts of gamers, whether they be smaller story-based driven RPGs or massive multiplayer online players. Whatever you want to play, it looks like Riot Games is really trying to embrace all these different segments of the gamer populace. Now, this is the same studio again behind KDA, so you can really anticipate them pushing the boundaries and making something that is really separated from all these other games that have been released in the past. And you could even expect them to try to challenge the reigning supreme massive multiplayer online game, World of Warcraft. But I am extremely excited about the direction that League of Legends is going in, and can only be more excited as time goes on. Now, before we go into anything else, we have to revisit Cyberpunk 2077. I feel like this game has been in the news every single week since I started this segment, and it is not showing any signs of slowing down and stopping that. Now, Cyberpunk 2077 had a ton of issues bug-wise last week, and it is so intense at this point that PlayStation has actually issued refunds to all players who digitally purchased this game, and not just that, they actually removed this game from their store, so you cannot purchase it in the online store in PlayStation anymore. And Xbox has done the exact same thing, minus removing it from their game store. So while it is in the store, they are offering refunds to everybody who purchased this game digitally. Now, if you bought a physical copy, it's going to be a little bit trickier. You have to go to your retailer and discuss this with them. However, if you got this game from Best Buy, they have reassured players that you will be able to return this game by December 21st if you so choose to. So this is a very interesting situation for CD Projekt Red, especially given their reputation and their record, just because the Witcher franchise was so well received and it was one of the greatest games on the market. And this is almost a situation of they've delayed this game so much, they've delayed this game so long, I think it got to a point where players almost had an unsustainable expectation of how good this game was going to be. This game is not going to be in this hell state forever. It's going to get better, these patches are going to fix these issues, and we are going to get to a point where this game is really, really good. Past that, we go back to Xbox. Xbox has been in the news last week because they are talking about the future of Microsoft. Last week, they confirmed that they will be making an exclusive title, and that is Ark 2. We got to see footage about this last week, and this game is going to be exclusive to Xbox. Now, when I say that, keep in mind that Microsoft also owns xCloud, they have Xbox Game Pass on PC, so it won't just be console specific. You are going to be able to kind of play it as PC and Xbox, but PlayStation gamers are not going to be getting Ark 2. Now, is this going to be a timed exclusive? Are we going to have this a couple months later, a year later? This is something that we need to explore, and while Ark 2 is not reportedly set to release until 2022, it gives us a lot of time to really dive into what is next for Xbox and all of the other single-player games that are on the way coming to Xbox. Now, this is something that we are definitely going to be seeing more of. Given that Xbox has about 1 year until Ark 2, imagine that there are going to be a lot of other announcements about other single-player games around it. Now, whether that be Elder Scrolls coming up in the future or other big games that we haven't even heard of at this point, this is going to be a very interesting turn of events in the next few months, and I imagine we're going to get a lot more news on it in the future. Moving away from console exclusives, we are going to head to French game developer Cyianide Studios. Now, Cyianide Studios is the same studio behind Blood Bowl, behind Styx Master of Shadows. They have a major track record with really, really impressive games. This game coming up is one that I am very excited about. I am talking about Werewolf The Apocalypse Earthblood. This game was announced back in January of 2017, quite a while ago, and is going to be releasing to all platforms on February 4th of 2021. We finally got some gameplay footage of it last week, and this is a very unique title. There's not a lot of content like this out there, and it is going to be something extremely special when it releases in February of next year. Now, this game, as I said, has been in the works for quite a while, and it is based off the tabletop RPG Werewolf The Apocalypse. I'm going to have links to the studio below, as well as links to the trailer itself. It is a very, very interesting game. If you want to learn more, check out those links and really see where it takes you. Now, there was not that many notable anniversaries, so we won't be talking about that, but game releases, there was a couple major ones. The first game we need to talk about is Spellbreak. Spellbreak released on consoles back in September, and it was extremely popular. It is a magical battle royale where you drop in and there are no guns, you just have magic, you have spells that you can pick up, potions to help you heal, and it is an insane game where you play with different magical gauntlets and just take on your foes with ice and fire and poison. It is crazy. There's nothing like it out there, and it has a beautiful, vibrant, artistic style with just an amazing environment and a beautiful, massive map full of castles and hillsides and mountains, and it is something that is really, really special. And I am excited to announce that this game arrived on Steam on December 15th, and it had a grand total of 2 million players in its first 5 days. Now, past that, we talk about Gears 5 Hivebusters. Now, the expansion DLC released on December 15th for Xbox. It is a very exciting expansion for Xbox players and people who enjoy the Gears of War franchise, and it had very, very positive reviews across the board upon its release. Now, there's only 2 other major releases. One is a crossover event, which I'm going to be saving for last, but the one before that is Airborne Kingdom. Now, Airborne Kingdom is a PC-only game that released on December 17th, developed by the Wandering Engineering Band LLC, and it is a Sky City builder. It's available on Mac and Epic stores, and it is kind of the first of its kind. If you haven't checked it out, this game is going to be something really, really special. Finally though, we're going to be talking about Cyberpunk 2077 again. It headed to Death Stranding. As a whole, obviously it's not a full-on mashup, but Cyberpunk 2077 content is going to be available within Death Stranding. There's going to be new in-game missions featuring characters and lore from Cyberpunk 2077, as well as new equipment. Now, some of that equipment is going to be cosmetic only, but some of it is really going to change how you play the game, and it's going to have a major effect on how you move forward playing Death Stranding. But that's it. That's all we got to talk about this week. Let's take a deep breath. Cyberpunk 2077 is gonna get better. They're gonna patch those bugs. Everything's gonna be alright. We're gonna keep playing, and it is gonna be a great game moving forward. We've all played Call of Duty the first week. We know how bad a game can be on release. It'll get better though. Past that, that's all I have to talk about though. So until next week, if you have anything you want to talk about, if you have anything on your mind in the gaming world that you think needs discussed, I want to hear about it. I keep saying, I want to hear from you, and I mean it. I want to hear from you. Until next week, though, I will see you next time on the Weekly Rewind.